Let's just settle into a nice, comfortable seated posture. And is Kimberly here? No, okay. And just, excuse me, just start with the body. Just check in with the body. Feet flat on the floor, about a hip's width apart. Feeling the sensations of the soles of the feet. The hands resting in your lap. Shoulders are aligned with the hips and the ears are aligned with the shoulders. And imagine your spine is a beautiful string of pearls of light stretching from the base all the way up through the crown of the head and beyond. Just lengthen your spine. Put some space in between your vertebrae. And then go to the crown of the head and just relax your scalp and the forehead and the eyes, back of the eyes, the cheeks, the jaw, the mouth, the nose, the temples, the ears, the back of the head. And just put a little bit of length in the back of the neck so you're not constricting the area at the base of the skull. And just release any tension around your shoulders and throat and chest and belly. And relax your limbs, except don't lose the alignment. And we're just giving ourselves the best possible opportunity for the blood, the energy, the chi, the breath, the prana to flow nicely. And this supports your concentration. So be aware of any sounds in your environment, trying not to follow the mind or go off and investigate. Same with anything you might be able to smell. And then be aware of what's going on in your mind. What have you watched or read? What conversations have you had today? And are there imprints now in your mind? Can you see something in your mind's eye? So given that, everything we look at, everything we watch, everything we read, every conversation we have, everything we speak, it leaves an imprint on our mind. We take so much care with our body. We special diet, organic food. We really take care of ourselves when it comes to eating and exercise. I mean, I know this is a bit of a culture here where I am. Everyone does look quite healthy. So it can be a little bit of an obsession maybe. But maybe if we took the same amount of care of our mind as we do with our bodies, we might be a little happier. And bring to mind all the people of your life, your loved ones, the strangers, the ones you don't like. Bearing in mind that these relationships are all really, they're interchangeable. And they're all equal in their wish to be happy, the wish to be free from suffering, and having an extraordinary capacity for Buddhahood. So I have a sweet story about many of you know Shankar. Shankar is now Venerable Shankar. He ordained, and he's married to Deirdre, and I've known them for many years. And Shankar's Deirdre just, they're still married, but Deirdre just suggested to him, why don't you become a monk? So he checked it out, and he has permission now to live, to live under the same roof as his wife. They're going to stay legally married. And that's an example of how a relationship can change. And they both seem happy about the situation. So it's curious, isn't it? So I think we'll do this meditation this evening for all these people of our life, and by extension, all sentient beings. And maybe just thinking of Venerable Shankar and wishing him so much, love and good heart and success in his practice and in his journey as a monk. So I think there is no negativity that can't be purified. This purification process is a psychological one. We create negativity with our mind, so we have the power to do the opposite, create positivity. So we start with this power of regret. So sincerely regret from the depths of your heart anything you have done to harm any living being on this day, in this life, and in all of our past lives. And think of specific actions of both your body and your speech, and then in general, regret all. And the reason to regret is based on our logic of karma, and we experience everything due to our past karma, our past actions. And so, having harmed others, we ourselves will necessarily experience suffering in the future. And we cannot bear the thought of any future suffering that we will experience. We know from our present suffering we don't want any more. So logically, it makes sense to remove the karmic seeds before they ripen as future suffering for us. So think like this. I regret from the depths of my heart having harmed others with my body and my speech, having broken my vows because I do not want the future suffering. I am sick of suffering, and also regret any anger, attachment, and the rest that are the cause of why we harm others, and then think, I'm just sick of this suffering. So then we think, okay, so who can I turn to? And so here we come to the power of reliance. So we turn to the Buddha, who we see as a doctor. And he has these methods that we can use to purify. And Yangtze Rinpoche talked about it. Not purify sounds kind of like, oh, we've done something bad and we need to fix it. It's also about healing ourselves. You can think of it that way. It feels to me a little more positive. So it's not that we're needing Buddha to forgive us either. We're purifying ourselves. We're healing ourselves with his medicine. So you imagine Vajrasattva above the crown of your head. You can also imagine this is the mind of your teacher manifesting in this form for your benefit. So he has this beautiful white light body sitting cross-legged, in the regular meditation posture. And his arms are crossed at his heart. The left is underneath the right. So the left closest to the heart. On the left, it's holding a bell representing wisdom. The right is holding a vajra representing the indestructibility of compassion. And when they're crossed like that in front of the heart, this represents enlightenment, the development of infinite compassion, infinite wisdom. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. So then we have this little section on compassion. It's also under reliance, because in order to develop compassion, we need to rely upon other beings. So the beings we've harmed and those who have harmed us, by developing compassion for them. So think about people you've harmed recently, in the past, and then in general, all beings we have ever harmed since beginningless time. And then remember those who have harmed you and have compassion for them because the harm they've caused you is going to result in suffering for them sometime in the future. So make a strong aspiration to do this practice of purification for all these beings. You can think, I must purify for their sake. And then we come to the power of the remedy, and we start with the body. And Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful white nectar, like coming out of a hose, quite forcefully from his heart. And it arcs around and enters your crown and pours into your entire body, filling you completely. And it keeps pouring into you until it forces out of your lower orifices all the harm you've ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid. And this pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left, as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida meboa, situkaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anarakta meboa, sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me, sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan, sawa tatagata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra aham pe, vajrasattva samaya manupalaya, vajrasattva dina patita, jida meboa, situkaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra aham pe vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita jida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan Sawa tatagata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra aham pe vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita jida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita jida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra aham pe vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita Jida meboa, situkaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anarakta meboa, sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me, sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan, sawa tatagata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva hum pe. So be delighted that all the harm you've ever done to any sentient being with your body is now completely purified, and think that there's no way you could do anything but benefit others now with your body. And next is the purification of our speech. And Vajrasattva very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra. And this arcs around and quite forcefully enters your crown and fills your entire body, except this time forcing up to the top of your body all the negativity of your speech. And this overflows and disappears into space, not one atom left. So you imagine all the gossip and the harsh speech and the useless speech and lying, talking about people behind their backs, getting other people to agree with you. All of this is purified by this powerful nectar filling you as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta me boa sawa sidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me. Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasafa Samayam Nupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Tita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawa Sidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasafa Samayam Nupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Trita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawa Sidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasafa Samayam Nupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawa Sidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasafa Samayam Nupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawa Sidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasafa Samayam Nupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawa Sidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasafa Samayam Nupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawa Sidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe. So again, feel so happy. Your speech is now completely purified. And imagine it's not possible to do anything other than benefit others now with your speech. And next is the purification of our mind. And Vajrasattva now very compassionately sends powerful beams of light from his heart chakra. And this arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire being. So you imagine you've walked into a room, it's pitch black, and you flick on the switch, and the light that comes instantly dispels the darkness. So it's the same here. The moment the light from Vajrasattva's heart hits your heart chakra, all the darkness of the negativity of your mind, all the attachment and neediness and anger and depression, resentment, jealousy, bitterness, disappointments and grudges, anxiety, all of this instantly dispelled, not one atom left as we recite the mantra again. Vajrasattva Samayam Nupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawa Sidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samayam Nupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawa Sidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samayam Nupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawa Sidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samayam Nupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawa Sidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ah Hum Pe Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Drita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ah Hum Pe Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Trita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ah Hum Pe Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Trita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ah Hum Pe. So again, be delighted that all your delusions, which are the source of all of our own suffering and the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech, are completely purified. And think now there's no space in your heart for anything other than love and kindness and forgiveness and wisdom and bliss and compassion. And next is the purification of even the imprints of negativity of the body, speech, and mind. And this time imagine that Vajrasattva sends light and nectar, and it fills you completely and eradicates even the subtlest imprints of negative energy from your consciousness. So you imagine the nectar coming down and pushing out all the negativities of the body, and then the nectar flowing up and pushing out all the negativities of the speech. And then the light coming and just blasting. This is all happening simultaneously. And then just think that that action eradicates even the subtlest imprints of negative energy from your mind. So I've just made some ghee. So I was kind of thinking about that as I was boiling the butter. And I mean, the butter was organic. It's already pretty clean. And then finally, after boiling it for a little while, all the kind of solid parts of the butter kind of drop to the bottom of the pan. And you just kind of quite a bit of, even though it's fairly pure, good quality butter, it's still quite a bit of junk in there. And so there's kind of that extra boiling, extra level of boiling to make the ghee. And now I've got a jar of quite clear looking liquid. And it's kind of like that, I think, So you've eradicated all the junk, even the subtlest imprints of the junk. Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Trita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ah Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Trita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ah Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Trita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ah Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Trita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ah Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida me boa, Situkaya me boa, Sipokaya me boa, Anorakta me boa, Sawasidi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me, Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Jida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Jida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe. So now feel completely purified. There's not one atom left of negativity in your mind stream. And even the subtlest obscurations to enlightenment have been removed. Now we come to the power of resolve, and this is the fourth and final step in the purification process, and it's a really crucial one. And this is this determination to refrain from harming with our body and our speech and our mind. So without this, we're just going to keep doing the same old things over and over again without making a decision that we don't want to harm. And nothing happens without a decision. Nothing can change. So this determination to refrain from harming becomes like a beacon that guides our body and our speech and our mind in new directions. So we can create new neural pathways and positive actions, positive thoughts, positive speech can become a new neural pathway, a new habit. So imagine Vajrasattva is delighted with us and wants to merge with your mind, melts into white light and absorbs into you through your crown. And think, my teacher's body, speech, and mind, Vajrasattva's body, speech, and mind, and my own body, speech, and mind are the same. And next, Rinpoche recommended to meditate on emptiness. So we think in emptiness, there is no I, the creator of negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma. And there is no negative karma created. So at whatever level you understand emptiness, place your mind there for a little while. We can think of all phenomena as being empty. They do not exist from their own side. And you can also think that the way things appear to me may not necessarily be the way they actually exist. So we'll dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy created doing this practice to all living beings and think, may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. So let's just do our chanting the names of Manjushri. The dancer moving to and fro, his hundreds of lengthy arms while setting down his stride, the dancer spreading through the whole of space and filling it with Srimat's 100 arms, stood tall atop the surface of the earth, the sole of just 1 foot pervading all, stood tall atop the summit of the world, the nail of his big toe suppressing all, whose aim is one, whose aim is non-dual Dharma, whose aim is ultimate beyond destruction, whose mind consists in groups of consciousness with varied objects, forms, and cognizance. Okay, everybody, let's have a strong wish for His Holiness the Dalai Lama to live long, to continue to be able to teach, and for, let's just hope Rinpoche appears soon. I mean, he's here, but maybe he can grow up and feel fine about being a tulku. I'm sure he'll already be starting to tell people this, and this, if he's already talking. I don't know what age Rinpoche is, but anyway, he's now been, this was his 2nd anniversary Oh, what happened to Ginny? Did we lose her? And then she, anyway, so depends on when Rinpoche did reincarnate. Depends on how old he is. But anyway, just a strong wish for us to be able to see him soon. And then for all of your own individual and personal teachers, wish for them to have long lives. Okay, everyone, lots of love. Thank you. I'll see you all, some of you tomorrow morning, and sleep well. Okay, thanks everybody. Bye.